Are you surrounded by a good group of men? Are there people in your life, men, that are willing to hold you accountable to being the best version of yourself? If not, then you're missing out on the opportunity to strive for the stars and achieve the goals and dreams you've always dreamed of. The men that you surround yourself will greatly indicate what it is that you're going to succeed at, what you're going to accomplish, what struggles won't be a problem because you have the support needed to overcome them. Men in life have very difficult times if they don't have that support system. And where do we learn how to create that support system? In sports, the military, Boy Scouts. There's all different types of organizations that teach young men how to have teamwork to create success for their lives. But are they taking advantage of it today? Can you look out at the friends that you have right now and say, these guys will make sure that I'm upholding the standards and the morals and the values that I have set for myself? If you can't, then maybe it's time to find new friends. Maybe it's time for you to take some action to go out there and make an assessment of your friends, cut out the ones that aren't benefiting you, aren't holding you accountable, and start finding some that do. And if you're having a hard time figuring out where to go find those men, I can guarantee you this, they probably aren't at the bar. They're not there on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday for happy hour. A good place to start would be at the gym. Guys that are there trying to better themselves to become a little bit more physically healthy. Or go to a library. Look for someone that's reading a book. Imagine that. Information going into the brain that might create a better opportunity for them. Those guys might be able to give you some information for you to be able to hold yourself to a better level. Or one place where I've found a lot of people, networking groups. Networking groups for me have put me around business owners, men, people doing the things that I've always dreamed of doing. So take the assessment. Look at your friends. Look at the people that you've surrounded yourself with. Do they do the things that you want to be doing? Are they willing to hold you accountable for being the man that you've always dreamed of? What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us at the Man Up and Own It podcast, where we help men face difficult situations and learn how to overcome problems that they may be facing in their life. I'm here with my friend, Kyle McKean. This man is always dressed to the best, and when I first met him, I was like, wow, that's an amazing vest. Little did I know that we were going to the same place.
Yeah, at the same chair.
At the same,
right across from each other, yeah.
I was like, hey, so you should come join this men's group thing that we've got going on. I think you would fit in really well. And he's like, oh, yeah? And I was like, yeah, my friend Shad. He's like, Shad? Little did I know he was one of the guys that I was getting to meet through a mutual friend. And Shad's been on the podcast.
Yeah. So I've heard. I have yet to see it.
Yeah, it's not out yet. It's going to be pretty cool.
Good.
Well, by the time that they watch this episode, it will have been out.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Kyle.
Where do I start? Well, I like long walks on the beach.
Ooh, tell me more.
Yeah, I'm not a wine drinker. I'll tell you that. No, I've been through a lot in my life. There's a lot of parts of my life that have been really easy. Luckily, I've had a really good dad that has taught me a bunch of stuff. But my dad, as I got older, I realized he's just a, older child who doesn't understand a lot of the things I needed to learn. Yeah, my dad taught me how to work. That has been one of my greatest attributes growing up is my work ethic, and that's who I learned that from. Outside of that, I got into friend groups, not so good friend groups, if that makes sense. And it's just one of those things where time will not be on your side, for one thing. You're not going to last a long time. You're going to get in trouble. The best case scenario is you just get in trouble. You just go to jail, right? And I needed to get out of that. I've watched a few friends overdose I've watched friends still currently to this day that have luckily survived that whole era of our life, still doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so another one of my big pushing factors is what can I do to show all of the, show this group of friends that I have that you guys can do so much more than what you're currently doing right now.
Right.
Life can't be so hard that this is the only thing that we're able to do.
Right.
So I started a business. I learned the hard way. For every aspect of my life, I had to learn it all the hard way.
Have you always been like that? Would you say like you've learned the hard way?
I'm called a contrarian, I think. Yeah.
Contrarian. Okay.
Yeah. So I always do the opposite of what everybody says.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's
So reverse psychology is highly suggested for you.
well, no, because I'm smarter than that. I don't know exactly what you're doing. It doesn't work. No. I don't agree with the white picket fence American lifestyle. I don't agree with you go to college, you get out, you pay your debts off till you're 55, 60 years old if you're lucky. And you buy a house, you have 2 kids, you marry a girl, and you just live happily ever after, retire when you're damn near dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
I want to retire in my 30s. I want to be able to retire in my 30s while maintaining the option of working.
Mm-hmm.
And maintaining the ability to continuously give back to others at an equal rate or greater than what I'm able to achieve for myself. I will learn all of the mistakes and I will tell you what they all were. And the reason why is because when I was 19, I kind of like ran away from home and told my dad, hey, I'm leaving. Where are you going? Not really sure. Arizona, maybe. I just got in my car. We just drove.
Where did you live at that time?
Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a journey.
It's a journey. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a journey. I had $1,700, Volkswagen. Yeah.
A bug?
No, it was a Golf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it had no heat. The windows didn't roll down. It was 5-speed manual, 2.0.
Okay.
Got good gas mileage.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. But other than that, radio didn't work. So I sang a lot of songs in my head, drove myself nuts.
How long was the drive?
It took me 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Just driving around, yeah. First place I stopped was St. Louis.
Oh.
Scared the crap out of me.
I believe that.
Yeah, so, no, I went to the Arch and I found no desire to stay there. I'm not a super big city guy.
Yeah.
You know, I like being by myself. I like being able to support myself without needing all this extra crap. It just takes up so much mental space to try to manage all of this stuff that we're all forced to have to deal with all the time. So I just kept driving. And it was late November when I left in Michigan. So now it's, first, second week, December. And I pull up on Mill Ave in Tempe. I'm like, wow, she's really cute. She's wearing shorts. She's got a crop top on. What the hell? And you hear this thing, how's the saying go? Sluts don't get cold or something, right? So I'm still thinking it's fucking wintertime.
Right.
Because
What was the month that you came here in?
December.
It was December.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're like negative something up there in Michigan.
Yeah, probably.
You're like
probably so.
60 degrees down here.
I'm still wearing my Carhartt jacket, and I'm still wearing 2 pairs of pants. Still got the heat blasting in the car.
Did you have that moment where you're like looking around at everybody at that, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, it was right out front of Magic Mushroom, and I was like, "There's no way people are walking around in shorts, tank tops. That guy looks like a douchebag. He's probably not getting." I'm 19, but I have no experience outside of Michigan.
Okay.
I went to Kentucky once.
Okay.
To visit family, but of course, when you do that, you're inside of this house in the same subdivision for 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You drive back, take a nap, whatever.
Yeah, and you're still having the overview of your parents and everyone else.
Yeah.
I got you.
So once I got here, I was like, everything was just so opposite of what it was supposed to be. I loved it. So I parked my car. I got a parking ticket, $75. Anyway, I'm like walking around. It's fucking hot. Take my jacket off. I go, it's really hot. Like it's like, it's 60 degrees, and I'm used to mid-20s right now. So
Right.
Anyway, I'm walking around. The guys people are looking at me like, why is he wearing so much stuff? Whatever. So I talked to this guy at Magic Mushroom outside because I was 19. I couldn't get in.
Okay.
And he's sitting there talking to me, and he's like, yeah, so why are you wearing a thick-ass Carhartt? dude, it's cold outside. He goes, it's 68 degrees. My phone's dead, so I can't really look up anything, whatever. Show me. He pulls out his phone. He goes, 68 degrees. So I asked him, where the hell are we, dude? Like, what's going on? Because, you know, I just don't know. You know,
Right.
all my experience is in Michigan. So I was like, I got to stay here. I went back to my car. I grabbed a pair of shorts. I grabbed a pair of my high tops that I had, little crappy Adidas ones I've had for like 5 years at this time, whatever. And grabbed a t-shirt. I started walking around. This is really freaking nice.
I'm falling in love.
Yeah, it was nice. And I got a hotel room, Motel 6, also scary in Tempe at the time. And broke into the water park next door, did a whole bunch of fun stuff all by myself. I was like, this is the best thing ever. You know, no intention to do anything past that night.
You're like totally liberated.
Yeah, it was the best, worst feeling I've ever had because I had no idea what came next, right? I didn't go there with a plan. I was just going somewhere hoping that by this time I was going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a millionaire by 20. I'm going to figure it out. Didn't happen. But once I decided to stay, I found a guy who was renting a room on Craigslist for $400. $400 a month. I had $700.
All right.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I went there. I go, hey, dude. He goes, I need 2 months. I go, you ain't getting that from me. Ain't going to happen. Okay. Well, here's $400. He goes, no, you take the bed or take the room, whatever. Okay. Do you have a mattress? Because I don't have a mattress. Yeah, I got a blow up mattress. Okay. I'll take it, whatever. So, and stayed there the first like 2 or 3 days. I didn't leave. I was so afraid to go. Like, I didn't want to see Arizona during the daytime. I didn't want to, like, I made a mistake, right? Because it was still like 7:30 the next morning, still kind of dark outside. You know, I'm not new to like, or all of this is so new to me, right? So I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I'm making a mistake. And it's the rush of not knowing what's coming is the reason why it was so exciting. Because I've never not known what was coming.
Right. Every experience now is all new, right?
Yeah. 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 Like
It's
my
exhilarating,
fingertips
right?
are tingling the whole time. I'm almost like hyperventilating when I wake up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still here. I wasn't dreaming. Okay.
Now, do you think it was like a mixture of like anxiety and excitement? Like it was like doing its crazy little dance?
Thinking back on it, it would almost have to be.
Yeah.
You know, because anxiety is the emotion you feel when you don't know something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's the basis of it. So it would have to be, but I'm excited because I'm doing everything I'm told not to do. I ran away from home. I am going to make something of myself. I'm not going to college. Screw all that jazz, right? You know, I'm just doing everything I'm not supposed to do. So I'm like, this is awesome. And yeah, I was like, what am I good at? Well, in Michigan, I was wrapping cars. I wasn't making a boatload of money, but enough to run away from home, I guess. Right?
Now, were you working for somebody else?
When I first got here, I got a job working at a wrap shop. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And in Michigan, were you working for someone else?
No.
It was your own thing?
Yep.
Okay.
My own thing as much as, you know, as unofficially as it could be, right?
Well, yeah, but it was still, you weren't reporting to some other person that was instructing you on how to go about your day.
Right. My dad owned a sticker shop, and he also worked for Ford. He also worked for, still currently works for Ford. But my dad had like 3 full-time jobs all the time. So I picked up doing a lot of his sticker stuff for him. When that happened, I'd take all the scrap stuff. I started wrapping like little die-cast cars, RC cars. I was like, this is fucking fun as hell. You know, and because I was super creative. I'm an art kid growing up. When I was in high school, I took 2 hours of design engineering. I wanted to be a designer for Ford. My dad worked for Ford. I loved Mustangs. I love all this stuff. I wanted to design the new Mustang. So I set out on this path. That's what I was going to do. And I start drawing up what I want this Mustang to be like, given it's like 2007 at this point. I'm drawing up this Mustang. I'm like, this is the perfect Mustang ever. Well, guess what? 2011, they come out with this new body style. My drawing was not different than what the new car looked like. Interior, seats, stitching, steering wheel, taillights, headlights, front bumper, where they put the fog lights, how they, you know, recessed them into everything was identical. I go, this is what I need to do. I need to design cars. I can't afford that. I can't afford to go to school just to be told, no, I'm not going to get a job. I know friends that took out $150,000 loans to pay for school that are now in their 40s and they still owe $120,000 due to interest rates on student loans. It's not in the cards for me. I didn't have good enough credit to get a loan. My parents made too much money, not great money, but enough money to support a family.
Absolutely. It puts you out of all of the opportunities.
Right.
Yep.
So it was hard to figure out. So I decided that I was just going to do what everybody says I can't do and create something that allows me to do something that I'm able to be passionate about. So I got a job out here at Echelon Autosports. I worked there for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got fired because he wanted to hire his friends. And I said, that's probably a bad idea. You know, I'm the one, I work like 12, 14-hour days, and you pay me for 8 hours a day, and I'm still here working.
Right.
You're going to find somebody that wants to do that? I've got nothing to do out here but this.
Right.
It was the best experience I had because of the people that I got to meet, the customers that I got to meet.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are pulling up in brand new Porsches, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, and I'm like, hey, so what do you do? Don't fucking ask me that question. That's fucking rude. I go, I don't give a shit. What do you do? Like, just tell me all of these. Tell me how to be you. That's all I want. What do I have to do to follow half of your footsteps? That's all I need to know. Give me something. And I met this guy, Adam Hismay, still a client of theirs. And he's a real estate agent. And he created this company. You know those little bells that you hang on motorcycles?
Yeah.
That's his company. Was his company.
Interesting.
Yeah, he created that, and he goes, I just came up with an idea, and I just went with it. That's all I got to do. Could just come up with an idea and just go for it. You know, like no, you know, because still the majority of my thought process is, you know, I'm scared and I'm nervous to just break away and just go do it.
Yeah.
I'm in an area where I don't know a lot of people, right? I'm not close with a lot of these clients.
Yeah.
They don't come to my house and have parties. I'm still renting a room, $400 a month, right? From the same guy, same air mattress, by the way. Except now I got a Jeep that doesn't have reverse. None of the windows rolled down. The taillights didn't work, you know, but it was all I could still afford because I was only making $400 a week from the shop.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm still buying groceries, but any extra money that I had, I gave it away. I never had extra money. Money is like the worst thing to come out of any of this because it'll make a friendship temporarily. It'll burn a friendship temporarily. It changes people's opinions of you, no matter what.
Good or bad.
But good or bad. But it doesn't give you opportunity either. The only thing that gives you opportunity is your ability to create. So I can have $1 million right now, but if I got no idea what to do with it,
it's worthless.
It's absolutely worthless. There's no experience that's going to come from that. There's no knowledge that's going to come from that. You can't buy more time to figure it out either. Yeah, you know.
And so you definitely can't take it with you.
Correct. Well, during this whole process of figuring out what I wanted to do, I had to learn that I had to figure out who I wanted to be first. And that was the hard part because I'm like, oh, dude, you know, I can just go smoke a bunch of weed and chill. You know, because you smoke, you go to bed, whatever, you wake up, you had no problems.
Yeah.
Worst thing you did, you might have eaten a whole pizza. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Or in my case, 4 Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, God. I'm lactose intolerant.
Man, and if we wouldn't have ran out, there would have been more in my belly.
Oh, my God. Even a pizza tears me to shreds.
You poor guy.
Yeah.
All right, go on. My bad.
So throughout this process of figuring out who I was, I got pushed really hard to figure it out the next day or lose a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
By this point in time, I'd met a girl. I've been with this girl for about a year now. And we moved into this house up in North Phoenix. And it was $1,700 a month. I'm like, there's no way in hell I can afford this. But I did. By saving literally everything. You know, we carpooled everywhere. I would buy stuff on Marketplace, clean it up, sell it, make a couple $100, put it towards rent. And, you know, her parents helped out because they cared about her. They helped out a ton all the time. But they helped her out all the time. I wouldn't have expected anything different, I guess. Looking back on it, I can't expect anything different than what they did. They did everything they needed to do for her, but I still take it all personally, so... But when I got fired, the day I got fired, I was in the company truck, that is Dodge Ram, that I helped them pick it out. It was a whole part of our all experience. We're all doing all this stuff together. Everything was great, and overnight it changed.
Interesting.
So when I got fired, I was in the company truck, and I was driving to one of their clients' houses. This client builds cars, sells cars at Barrett Jackson. I admire the shit out of this guy because if I asked him a question, he just told me the truth. Didn't sugarcoat it, didn't care how it made me feel, didn't care about anything. And anytime he saw me slacking and I was on his property, he called me out for it.
He held you accountable. For
everything. I'd call him in the middle of the day, hey, dude, I've been going through this. He goes, who the fuck cares? What? You don't care about me? Dude, what do you mean? He goes, no, it's just one of those things. Like, nobody cares. Mm-hmm. You're the only person that can care. So own up to it and figure it out. I can't tell you what to do. I haven't done that yet.
It's like when someone makes a promise to do something and then they don't do it. And then they give you every excuse under the sun as to why they couldn't do it versus just being like, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And leaving it at that.
But a lot of times with that, those people's excuses are their truth, right? Mm-hmm. So they might not have known that they fucked up. What if they actually really wanted to do something for you, but they're just not half the person you are? They just don't have the ability to actually do it, but they were trying to do so, right?
Right.
So I used to get so mad at people when they're like, hey, dude, can I borrow $10? I'll pay you back on Friday. Well, now it's Saturday. Hey, man, where's that $10? $10 is a lot of money. That's 2 days worth of McDonald's for me. I could eat 2 days. So it's one of those things like, why do I have to come after you to hold you accountable? Why can't you just hold yourself accountable? That's the issue that I have with people. Don't give me excuses because I don't really care. Don't tell me why you can't do it because you're not allowing me to help you get to a position of which you can.
Right.
I don't care about the $10 so much as I care about helping you out. If I lost $10, but I knew that you learned something from this whole process, that's so much more valuable to me. Right. Because now I can build somebody that I can count on later on in life.
Mm-hmm. And they believe that you are going to invest into them.
Correct. Which is why money doesn't mean anything to me, but it means a lot to everybody else.
Yeah. But people without it seem to want it, right? Until you've got enough of it, then you're all of a sudden you realize like...
I got a story for that too.
Hey.
Yeah. When I got fired, I had rent due in 3 days and I had no money.
Okay.
Yeah. I called my landlord. Hey, so can I defer rent 2 more weeks? I'm going to sell my car. I got to figure it out. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Shit. Well, while I was working for this wrap shop, I made a really good friend, Larry Appleby, and he was the aftermarket manager for Cadillac, and I've done all the wraps on their cars. I have a really good personal relationship with the guy. When I had a break at work, like my lunch break, I went there, I just hung out with him. Super cool, older guy. I think he was early 70s at the time. My favorite person, my favorite kind of guy, right? A story for everything, advice for everything. Never took, emotional attachment to how I came at him with my problems. Mm-hmm. I would go there if I had a bad day. I called him in the middle of the day randomly, and he just talked me out of my hole. Mm. And that's when I realized that we were going to have a really good relationship. So I called him the second I got fired. Hey, Larry, I just want to let you know I'm no longer able to do the wraps for you guys over at Cadillac. Trevor decided that, I'm not fit for the team. So I can't do it. He goes, okay, well, I really appreciate you letting me know. Trevor already called me, 3 hours ago and told me this. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. He goes, so what are you doing now? No idea. He goes, you want to open up your own shop? I go, yeah, but I have no money. He goes, I'll give you 5 trucks to do. Is that enough money? That's $25,000 right there.
What?
I go, like when? He goes, well, I'll pay you for half up front. I'm like, okay. Well, now I know Scott Oblinger, who had a shop location, recently just mentioned he was trying to move, but he still had a lease. And, hey, what can we figure this out? Now I got, $8,000 worth a month in bills, but Scott is the reason why I'm able to be in this position. Because if he did not help me out then, mm-hmm. and Larry did not help me out then, there's no way I could have started it. I cannot tell you what else I would have done. I'd have sold my car, my Jeep, $800. I wasn't going to get anything. I didn't own any guns or anything at the time. I didn't own anything valuable. Still had the air mattress. Still. Seriously. Yes. 4 years later, still had the air mattress.
Wow.
And Scott helped me get into the spot. And he did a whole bunch of upholstery work, beautiful stuff. So there's, glue on the walls. There's stuff all of the inside of the shop just looked like a wreck. He had a wood shop on one side of it. The sawdust. I made it work until I made enough money. I got the floors done, redid the walls, hired some guy to put in some lights. I built a really nice shop. I spent all the money that I made building the shop location. And he goes, so what else do you need from me now? Larry says this. I go, dude, just your time. He goes, and that's a beautiful thing. then he hangs up the phone. I'm like, okay, well, 30 days later, he goes, hey, so I got 5 more cars for you. Like, there's no fucking way. So, now I made, 25 grand in 1 month and I built a shop.
Yep.
And I started getting some work from some clients that, who understood me.
Mm-hmm.
They saw on which projects I did all the work, and they knew that they just wanted me to do the work. And
Yep.
those are the only clients that I got from working at EA. And I just started working. I was 16, 18-hour days. I never left. The shop was set up where I had one shop side right here, another one right here, equal sides, about 2,500 square feet apiece, and then 2 office spaces up here. I built a bedroom up here. This bathroom had a shower in it. I was done. I was like, I don't even need this house anymore.
Right.
But I had a girlfriend, I had a dog, I had other things that needed the house, so I kept the house, but I slept at the shop more than I slept at my house.
Interesting.
Yeah. I had no real reason to go home. My relationship was never perfect. It was a survival relationship, more or less. That was the most fun I've ever had. Because I'm like, on average now, give it 6 to 8 months later, I'm making like 25 grand a week.
Yeah.
I'm starting to hire employees. I'm starting to learn shit the hard way, though.
Yeah.
People disputing credit card charges for 5-6 grand at a time. I'm like, it's still costing me like, 60 grand a month to stay in business.
Yeah.
But I'm making like, $75,000 to $100,000 in a month. It's like, oh God, I had no idea how to maintain that. So I just worked. I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My first 3 hours were paperwork every single day.
Wow.
Just making sure everything was in line. And I'd shut my phone off at 9 o'clock. And then I would work until 2. I'd turn my phone on, respond to voicemails, text messages, shut it back off at 4, and I'd work again till 10. Yeah.
Dude, that's wicked.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I miss it, but I don't miss it. I will only do it again if I have to, but I won't do it again for fun.
It's not like something you're just going to go choose to go out and do, right?
You're right. Yeah. Dude, that was so much fun.
You're like, I like to torture myself, but I think I've had enough of it for a while.
Yeah.
So what's the next venture?
The next venture from now?
For you, yeah.
Flight school.
Flight school.
Yeah, I never thought I could afford to fly a plane. Never thought I could afford to buy a plane. Never thought I could afford to get through flight school. Never did I think I'd ever want to open up my own either. It's all the super unachievable things for me is getting into airplanes, right? That's all rich people stuff. I'm not a rich guy.
Sure you are.
But I'm not. But I'm doing it. So I'm doing it because it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, but that's why you were a rich guy, because rich guys are willing to take risk.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, safely take risks.
Well, yeah, I'm not telling you to go jump out of the plane that you're flying.
If I had a parachute, I might try it once. No, one of the scariest things I've done before this was when I sold my Scottsdale shop. I had, at that point in time, a metric fuck ton of cash.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a McLaren 720S. I was like, this is fucking cool. $400,000 in cash. This is awesome. Bought the car. And then I went to, Denver, and I started something there doing the same thing. Sold it to the same guy that I sold Scottsdale for. Then I went to Utah, started the same thing, got burned by a business partner, took my cash, kind of made a little bit, sold the McLaren when I moved back to Arizona. And took 2 years off. Didn't do anything. Got into horses. I learned that, horse shit doesn't come off your shoes very easily. Learned how to ride a horse. I went hunting a lot. I got into dirt bike racing more, so I raced my dirt bike.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I got bored. I was like, this is what retirement feels like. It was super depressing.
Yeah. Most people that retire stop, and then because they stop, they die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the day you stop working is the day you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm. My grandmother died at 101, and she chose to die. And the reason she chose to go is because they told her that she couldn't have a job anymore. She couldn't go eat with her friends at lunch, that she was just gonna have to stay in this like room sort of thing. She's like, cease treatment. I don't want a pacemaker. I don't want nothing. I'm ready to go.
Damn.
And it speaks a lot to like our purpose, right? Like when we have a purpose on something that we're driven or called to go do, and like for you, it's to seek adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see things that look unobtainable to most, and you're like, I can do that.
Well, that's the fun part, because even if I don't make it, I still did more than you did. You know what I mean? But if I do make it, now I have the opportunity to help you. I have the opportunity to take care of my wife. I have all these other opportunities that I created.
In a sense, that's like the meaning of a man in a way. Like, what can we create? What can we bring to this world to bring benefit to our society?
Yeah. I mean, that's our instinctual base, is we have to protect, right? And we have to provide. If we can't provide in an area of which you are directing me to do so, I'm not going to go to college. I'm not going to work a 9 to 5. I'm not going to do all these things. Then I have to create something that still allows me to provide. And providing for my wife is obviously the biggest priority that I have. I don't need much at all, right? I have my suits. I have my knowledge. I have my experience, and that's the only thing that I need to do to get through life, obviously, other than eating. But with that being said, I take care of my wife, and then I take care of my friends. Every opportunity I get to create, the first thing I do is I call my friends. Hey, do you want to do this? Because if you want to do this, I'll show you how. Dude, I got to tell you, most of them don't even believe me. I'm like, hey, I'm going to open up a flight school. They go, what do you mean you're going to open up a flight school? There's no way. Yeah, you want to do it? No, dude, there's no way you're going to do it. Okay, I'll call you in a year when it's open. It's done.
And you can take your first flight lesson.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I think that's important though. The belief in oneself and the ability to just keep moving forward, whether you have support or not.
Right.
Like for this podcast, I kept talking about it. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then one day the opportunity presented itself. I was like, I'm doing it. We're doing it. And I pursued that until it happened.
And it's just going to continue to happen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So let me ask you this. What is one thing a man can do to improve the quality of his life if he's facing difficulties?
There's 3 things.
Ooh, he thrice upped me.
Thrice upped you. Mental health is the most important thing.
Mental health.
You don't need validation from women.
Do not need validation for women. Validation is only good for parking.
And be passionate about your purpose.
And be passionate about your purpose.
Yeah.
And how will those 3 things help an individual? In the quickest and driest way that you could tell somebody.
Well, there's no quick answer, so I'll attempt to do so. You can't get validation from women because women are not built to support you in a way that you're going to need it if you can't support yourself. But you have to be able to take care of yourself, which means part of it is you have to be passionate about what you're doing. If you're not passionate about it, it sounds depressing already. But your mental health has to come first. Your ability to provide and protect for you and your spouse and your family and your friends solely relies on your ability to maintain your own mental state. We're allowed to have bad days, and we have friends to call. When I have bad days, I say I have a 90-day cycle. I'll work my ass off for 90 days in a row, but that 91st day, man, I don't want to get out of bed, and I won't. I'll just sit there. I'll call Will. Will's my best friend. I'll talk to him every day, and he'll talk me off my ledge and remind me of everything that I've been able to do, because I don't see my accomplishments as being something so super great. Right. If I'm able to achieve them, I think I'm an idiot. I talk so bad about myself a lot of the times in my head that when I achieve these things, I'm like, oh, well, that was too, like, there's no challenge in it anymore because I'm done with it, right? So I got to move on to the next thing. I have to push harder and harder and harder. There's been so many times that I've been sitting down and I'm like, dude, like, I don't really care to see tomorrow anymore. Like, I don't have thoughts like that, past that moment. But why am I still so hard on myself? And that's because the social standard for men, the bar is set so high, which is fine because we could all achieve it, but nobody teaches us how to get there.
Absolutely.
And that's the big problem. That's when most men rely on women. Tell me I'm doing a good job. Tell me you love me. Tell me you're not going to leave.
It's almost like the mommy thing.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Especially when a woman cheats on you, man, it'll tear you apart.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to learn from you or wants to get in on this flight school or wants to like get their car wrapped, how do they get a hold of you?
I have a personal Facebook page that'll probably be the easiest way, and that's Kyle McKean, facebook.com. I'm sure it's how it's written.
All right. Well, we'll have it in the link. Dude, it's been a pleasure having you. I look forward to having you on again. And I want to thank you out there for joining us on the Man Up and Own It podcast, where we help men overcome difficult situations and show them the opportunities that they have available for them to create the success that they want.